ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 41st Mayor of the City of Los Angeles, Antonio Villaraigosa.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me begin today with two simple words. Simple, heartfelt words. Thank you. Thank you for the honor of allowing me to serve as your mayor. It has been the privilege of a lifetime to lead the city of my birth, the city where my mom raised me to see possibility around every corner, the city of opportunity my grandfather came to over 100 years ago. Never in my wildest imagination did I ever think that a young boy from City Terrace would have the opportunity to be here among you like this as your mayor. And as I take in this moment, and I am taking in this moment, I'm reminded of something my mother told me when I was 16. I had recently been kicked out of high school. I had dropped out of another. It was the morning. I sat at the kitchen table, bruised and bloody from a fight the night before, with a bandage on my arm. My mom came in. She was horrified. Pointing to the bandage, she said, "What's that?" And I told her, "It's a tattoo, a second one. I got it last night." She began to cry. You see, she knew that I had given up on myself. Her voice shook, and she said, "You don't believe in you, but I believe in you. You were destined for greatness, and you don't even know it." Now, when it comes to the part about greatness, I think we all know that was a mother's pride speaking. But I do know this. She was right. I had no idea what lay ahead. I had no idea that close to 4 decades later, I would have the honor to serve this city and its residents. So, I thank you. As Angelenos, we are fortunate and blessed to live in this city. That video chronicled how fortunate we are. At the edge of the continent that once defined the American frontier, we're now a gateway to the future, a gateway to the hope and promise of this great country. And over the last 8 years, I've been so fortunate and blessed to partner with you to realize the hope and promise of this great city. Above all, thank you to the neighborhood groups, the community organizations, the businesses, the philanthropies and the foundations, and the hundreds of thousands of volunteers for standing with me, for partnering with me to make Los Angeles, our home, a better place. 8 years ago, we dared to dream. Dream of a safer city, a greener city, a more mobile city, a city of opportunity where every kid had a desk in a good school with great teachers. But we didn't just dare to dream, we promised to deliver, and we did. Now, there have been some bumps on the road, some potholes, if you will, some detours, some missteps, and yes, there have been some failures. But we kept our cool, and we kept our promises. We knew success didn't come easy or overnight. We knew it was going to be like that Billie Holiday song, "The difficult we'll do now, the impossible will take a while." But because we dared to dream, because we didn't fear failure, but learned from it, because we persisted, I'm proud to say that the state of our city is strong, and it's growing stronger by the day. LA is on the move. And it starts with our economy. After the worst recession in generations, we're finally turning a corner. But the road forward is still very long. The want ads are still required reading for too many Angelenos, and the durability of this recovery is hardly guaranteed. So one thing is clear: we must maintain a relentless focus on job growth. We can't go back to the old days and the old, tired ways. We can't just sit back and let our palm trees do our marketing. If we want more business in LA, we have to change the way LA does business. That's the reason we have spearheaded the creation of the city's first economic development department. Its mission will be simple and straightforward: make job creation job number one. Now, we've led with a carrot, not the stick, to attract the innovators and the inventors and the entrepreneurs who will power our 21st century economy. We gave every new business a 3-year exemption from our local business tax, and we extended it another 3 years. And today, I'm proud to report that the number of new businesses grossing over $500,000 a year has more than doubled in the city of Los Angeles since 2010. We are on the move. We've taken aggressive measures to support our housing and construction sectors, and LA is building again. The forecast for housing permits in 2013 is up 320% from 2009. Now, we want to keep going full steam ahead. So what have we done? We reformed the permitting process. We created a case management office to give businesses hands-on support so they can get plans approved sooner, stores opened quicker, and goods to market faster. LA is on the move. Real prosperity, durable prosperity, is shared prosperity. LA cannot be two cities. So at every stage over these 8 years, every day and in every way, we fought for jobs for working families of LA. Not just any jobs, good jobs, decent jobs, jobs that pay a living wage. With our local hire initiative, we said local projects will employ local workers so everyone has a stake in economic development. We fought for project labor agreements that give working families a greater measure of security. And we paddled hard to put LA workers in a position to catch the next wave of good jobs. Now, our clean tech incubator has become the heart of downtown's growing green tech sector. A burgeoning Silicon Beach of new tech companies is blooming in Venice and Playa Vista. And our workforce strategy, targeting training and permanent placement for workers, has put over 200,000 Angelenos, more than twice the population of Santa Monica, in living wage jobs. Now, the Great Recession, and that's what it was, dealt a heavy blow to the bottom lines of our businesses and our households. But they weren't the only ones. When the market crashed, the bottom fell out of our city budget too. But even if we stumbled, we didn't fall. Staring what became a $1 billion structural shortfall in the face, we made the tough decisions. For the sake of prosperity in the long term, we shared sacrifice in the short term. This was the right decision, and we made it together. So many talk so much about smaller government. We didn't just talk, we walked the walk. We consolidated city departments. We reduced the city's workforce by more than 5,000 positions, cutting a third of the city's civilian general fund workforce. We worked with our unions and reined in employee pension and health care costs. Most current employees now contribute more toward their retirement and health care, nearly doubling their contribution from 6 to 11%. New civilian employees will retire at 65, not 55. They'll retire with 75%, not 100% of their salary. We can and we must do more. Because what we've done so far has worked. We've held the city together even as other cities right here in Southern California have fell apart. We're on the move and we must keep up the momentum. In less than 2 weeks, I will deliver my final budget. It will build on the foundation of fiscal responsibility and smart investment that we have built in the last 8 years. It will be balanced because it has to be. It will include a fully funded reserve, and it will accomplish one more thing. It fully funds a 10,000 officer Los Angeles Police Department. And I want to make 2 points about the police buildup. First, I know there are those who say that 10,000 was just a number. No, it wasn't. It was a promise. A promise to Angelenos that when it came to securing their basic safety and peace of mind, I wasn't going to be satisfied with half steps and business as usual. I was going to raise the bar, meet it, and then challenge my successor to raise it again. Because if anything, and as Chief Beck will rightly testify, we need even more officers to support community policing. Second, while building our force to 10,000 strong, we've also built the LAPD into one of the most diverse police departments anywhere in the United States of America. 64% of them come from communities of color. 20% of them are women. And folks, we flipped the script. We built a department that looks more like LA. And with the progressive leadership of Chief Beck, we built stronger bridges to the community. Our rank and file police officers have overcome a legacy of suspicion and misunderstanding. They've built more trust, more respect, and more credibility in communities of color than ever before. The LAPD did more than simply comply with a federal consent decree. They took it to heart, and they made these reforms their own. And now the LAPD is a national model for how the command staff, the community, and the cops on the street can work together to turn the department around. Now, these efforts speak for themselves. Violent crime and homicides are down 49% since 2005. Property crime is down 30%. LA is on the move, and neighborhoods that used to be no-go zones, parks that were a public menace, have been turned around. And not just because we have more officers, but also because we zeroed in on the gang problem. 8 years ago, we didn't have a gang strategy. We had a patchwork of programs assembled under the shop-worn motto of divide by 15. The status quo was untenable, and for the sake of our children, for the sake of our city, we had to break decisively with the past. Together, we implemented a comprehensive gang reduction strategy. We pledged to focus resources on those communities most plagued by violence. We promised to develop programs that address the root causes of why young people join gangs in the first place. From Summer Night Lights to our Violence Intervention Training Academy, our gang reduction program is now a national and international model. It's a model because it works. Gang crime is down, way down. 8 years ago, at the beginning of 2005, there were 1,755 gang crimes. At the beginning of this year, there were 784, a 55% decrease. At the beginning of 2005, there were 87 gang-related murders. This year, 29, a 66% decrease. More cops, smart, proven policies and programs, a committed dedication to constitutional policing. This is now the LA way. For the last 8 years, we put our shoulders to the wheel to change our reputation as America's capital of congestion. Thanks to our commitment, we're on the move to becoming a model of big city mobility. With over $40 billion in new local funding, we're doubling the size of our rail network. Angelenos are taking advantage of their newfound freedom to ride. Metro Rail ridership is up and up big. 9 million people step on and off Metro's trains each month. 9 million. That's why I say LA is on the move. And you know, as we've laid more track, we've also expanded more carpool lanes, including on the 405, which I know was congested today, and the 5. And keeping a promise I made in 2005, we've blazed a trail and become the only city in the world to modernize and synchronize each and every traffic signal. The only city. Drivers see fewer brake lights and more green lights, and their commute times drop up to 24%. Now, we led the modernization of LAX and are creating 40,000 jobs. We rode and fell hard for bicycles. My elbow still hurts. And now we're pedaling hard to put in 1,600 miles of bike lanes and bike paths. We made the case and we made the sale for historic transit investments that will pay dividends for Angelenos for generations to come. Now, together, we passed Measure R. We persuaded a partisan Congress to enact a bipartisan America Fast Forward, creating 1 million jobs across the country. And now, when cities like LA invest their local transportation dollars, they can get federal support to make those dollars go further and faster. But sadly, when it comes to raising revenue to invest in common sense transportation solutions, the fight isn't over till it's over. We've got to get back in the ring and start the next round. For too long, a small minority has been able to cast a veto on our common future. We need to change the California Constitution and allow a majority of voters to approve new taxes for roads and rails and investment in infrastructure. Now, giving Angelenos real alternatives to the single-passenger automobile is part and parcel of our overall commitment to making Los Angeles a more sustainable city. Imagine saying in 2005 that by 2013, LA would be a world leader in the drive to create the 21st century sustainable city. I do imagine, because I said we were going to be the cleanest, greenest big city in the country. And I remember the smirks. People would have thought we were joking. Well, no one's laughing now. In the last 8 years, we've racked up a whole set of big city environmental firsts. We become the first city in the country to shake our addiction to dirty power as we divest from coal. We signed on to Kyoto in July of 2005. Kyoto says that you'll reduce your 1990 carbon emissions 7% below 1990 levels by 2012. Well, we've reduced our city's carbon emissions by nearly 30%. More than any other major U.S. city. And from coast to coast, we have the largest feed-in tariff solar program. We've cut water use by 20% and now use less water per capita than any other major U.S. city. We've promised, and we've kept that promise. We've quintupled our use of renewables, going from 4 to 20%. We've cut air pollution at the Port of Los Angeles in half. We've increased recycling rates to 75%. We've opened up over 650 acres of new parkland in Los Angeles. And we laid the foundation for transforming the LA River from an urban blight into a natural beauty. Our river will be a watery ribbon linking a network of parks and nature trails and walkways and bike paths that will enhance the mobility of millions of Angelenos and will increase the connectivity of our city's cherished communities. I know that green is a fashionable color these days, but our commitment to sustainability can't be a passing fad. A city like LA has to be on the front line of creating a sustainable future. The physical footprint of the world's cities is small, only about 2% of the Earth's surfaces. But our carbon footprint is supersized. Cities use more than 2/3 of the energy and put out more than 70% of the globe's carbon emissions. Cities are a major part of the problem, and they can be a major part of the solution. If there are any silver linings to climate change, that's one. If we green our cities, we can take a significant step toward greening the planet. And for the last 8 years, we've worked hard to take on the mantle of environmental leadership. For the sake of Mother Earth, now is not the time to give it up. Now, before I close, I want to reflect for a moment on the place we've gathered tonight. UCLA, my alma mater. This is one of the finest universities, public or private, anywhere in the world. And for over 9 decades, it has educated class after class of students, lighting a fire of curiosity in young minds. I'm lucky enough to count myself among those fortunate generations of students. I came here thanks to an affirmative action program. And because of that, some say I came in the back door. But one thing's for sure, I got out the front door. UCLA propelled me along a path that led to City Hall and back to this stage tonight. I sat on Jan's steps. I soaked up knowledge and inspiration because I had help and support. I had the help of a mom and the dedicated teachers who believed in me and pushed me even when I didn't believe in myself. That's why I always ask the kids in my partnership schools, do you believe in you? And I always have them respond, I believe in me. That's why I championed education reform. You see, it's personal for me. I know that with all my being, the life-altering difference a dedicated teacher can make, a parent can make. But it's also more than that. My commitment goes back to the biblical reminder, to whom much is given, much is expected. As community leaders who are here with us tonight, as elected officials, as neighborhood activists, as men and women of influence and means, we have a special responsibility to the city that's given us so much. And central to this duty must be a responsibility to do right by our children and their schools. Thanks to a great board focused on improving our schools and working with me over the last 8 years, we've made stride after stride in keeping faith with this basic covenant. The number of LA schools meeting the state standard of 800 on the Academic Performance Index has more than doubled. The number of failing schools has dropped from 1 in 3 to 1 in 11. The graduation rate has risen from less than half to almost 2/3. The number of schools that are being transformed from the bottom up is more than 160. The number of charters has jumped 3-fold. The number of high-performing charters has shot up 9-fold. LA is now a leader in giving parents and their kids the education choices they need and deserve. Since 2008, our 22 partnership schools people would have written off, had said couldn't change, have made tremendous progress. 1 year after our partnership took over Jordan High School in Watts, the students achieved the biggest gains in API scores for any high school in the entire state. The number of partnership 10th graders passing their high school exit exam has jumped by 17 points. And this past school year, if the partnership were its own school district, and with 22,000 kids, it's larger than Santa Monica, Malibu, we would have outpaced every district in California in terms of API growth. Our schools, our children are on the move, which is why it's been so disheartening to see our mayoral candidates devote so little time to a serious discussion of how to deliver a quality education for all our children. You see, education reform can't be a footnote on a campaign mailer or fodder for an attack ad. Improving our schools must be front and center of a real debate and discussion. It's time for our candidates to demonstrate the fierce urgency of now when it comes to ensuring that all, not some, not many, but all of our children have access to great schools. It's time that they presented us with their comprehensive vision to make schools shine. But we don't want to hear one or two planks in a plan about an audit of this or a piecemeal change in that. We want the whole plan. Because on May 21st, we're not just going to elect a mayor. We want to elect a leader. We want to choose someone who won't nibble cautiously around the edges. And guess what? When I talked about failures, yes, there were some. You fail sometimes when you swing for the fences. You fail sometimes when you dare to dream. You fail sometimes when you fight, even when you're fighting alone. We want someone who will demonstrate a core commitment to our kids. We want to hear how you will think bigger how you will be bolder, how you will be better. July 1st will be your moment. Embrace it. Take your rightful place of leadership alongside of the mayors of New York and Chicago and cities around the country. Advocate tirelessly and relentlessly for educational opportunity for all so that more of our kids can come to this great university. We've come too far. Our kids need a champion. Be that champion. You know, we have always pushed against frontiers. We've always pushed to move farther, to do more. Our frontiers used to be defined by geography, by mountains, valleys, and coasts. Now the future is the frontier. As day continues to break on this new century, Angelenos must push hard and do what we've done best. Dare to dream, promise to deliver. Tom Bradley said it best. He said, people cut themselves off from their old ties of the old life when they come to Los Angeles. They're looking for a place where they can be free, where they can do things they couldn't do anywhere else. The old life, the old world, the old Los Angeles is fading in a rearview mirror. The old Los Angeles was a city of smog and gridlock, a city that was under-policed and insecure, a city that let its schools deteriorate into factories of failure, a city known more for its divisions than its diversity. The old world was the analog world, the world of snail mail, of landlines, of newsprint. The new world is a digital world of global networks, smartphones, and mobile apps. A little more than a decade into the new century, Los Angeles is embracing the new world, embracing the future. The result is a city where the foundation of prosperity and opportunity is strong and growing stronger. Los Angeles has always been a place where people do things impossible anywhere else. It's the story of my grandfather, handed down to my mom, and my mom handed down to me. It's your story too. I know it's your story too, and we won't take no for an answer. We think big, we swing for the fences. We believe that in LA we can have an economy that includes everyone, that we can deliver the safety our people need, that we can be the cleanest, greenest big city in the United States of America, that we can restore the promise of a free, quality public education. We can build tomorrow today. Dare to dream, Los Angeles. Promise to deliver. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.